What's up, everybody? It's your man Pots and Pans. Today on Real Chef Tips, we are going to be adding on to our knife skills repertoire. Last week we did a quick one. I was going over the standard vegetable cuts. We could say the videos were a little dicey. You take a round vegetable, plank it up, line it up. Just go back and watch the other video if you know what I'm talking about. But onions are a whole nother world. Okay, you're looking at them, you're like, what the fuck do I do with this thing? Hey man, how do I make circles into squares? You ever had that little thing at the doctor's office, or your parents loved you enough to buy you toys? You can't fucking fit this into a square hole. Well, you can, sort of, but you have to do a little work. So that's why we're here today. I'm gonna put this back in the fridge so I don't cry. Hey man, chill. Now what you're gonna learn in this video is that dicing an onion is not very complicated, but it does take a lot of practice. It takes a lot of repetition, it takes a lot of patience, okay, and just like an enthusiasm to learn. That's why we're here, right? We like learning. We love this show. We love our hosts, okay? We love subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you know when more of these videos comes out. Please and thank you. If you're just tuning in or you don't have a lot of knife skills in general, I have a few other videos on how to simply get started, the knives to use. Okay, let's editor, key in the knife safety video for the viewers to watch. The editor's me. This video is gonna tell you everything that you need to know to stay safe. Your phalanges depend on it. Now the first step is obviously to break it down. We need to remove the skin, all right? And there's definitely kind of like two ways to do this. Most people like to top and tail it, and then you just take a paring knife and you remove just the outer layer. You don't want to remove too much, okay? You're just losing product. Onions are like 2 cents, but that's fine. You still want to operate with finesse. Others like to simply skip that step. They slice directly through the root, all the way through to the stem side, and then you just kind of peel it back. I prefer the former. It's all gravy, baby. All right, no right, no wrong. You just want to make sure that you don't remove the root. That needs to stay intact so that as you're slicing and dicing, the whole thing stays together. Now, once that's finished, the first thing that you need to do is cut it in half if you didn't get to that part, and then you need to go flat side down. Now, if you couldn't put that together, I don't know, make an appointment with like a neurologist or a psychologist, some type of ologist that's gonna help you. You got bigger fish to fry. Flat side down for stability, root side away from you, and what you're gonna do is just slice. Make even parallel cuts. Oh yeah, use a sharp blade, fucking obviously. And a chef's knife is probably the most ideal. You know, you can use a smaller paring, I guess, but you want something that's not too long, not too short. You got clearance from the board. You know, chef's knives are ideal. So evenly spaced, parallel cuts. We're going lengthwise here, perpendicular to the root. Perpendic to the root. Now, as you're making these cuts, do not slice all the way towards the root. Definitely don't slice through the root. Similar to our dice sizes from last week, you know, if you're making these cuts in 1/16 of an inch increments, you're looking at a fine brunoise. Then if you go to 1/8 of an inch, you're looking at a brunoise. 1/4 inch small dice, 1/2 inch, you're looking at a medium dice. 3/4 of an inch, you're looking at large dices. Now, once you're done with that, spin the root so that it's on the left-hand side of you. If you're a righty, spin the root to the right-hand side of you if you're a southpaw. Now start from the stem end, the open end. Make 3 horizontal cuts heading towards the root. These cuts are parallel to the cutting board, kind of like you're butterflying a piece of meat. Again, do not cut all the way through the root. Now when you slice in like this, some people like to go palm on top. That's cool, all right? Some people like to get up on their tippy fingers. It does not matter. I like to do the tippy fingers because it gives you a little more spread. You can hold it together. Fan your fingers out and control it, because those lateral slices that you did before, they're gonna wanna fan out like they got hip dysplasia or something. So you wanna keep this jaw on top. The only thing that you wanna do is keep your phalanges out the way, including your thumb, and secondly, you wanna keep the onion together. Another basic reminder here, okay, we're using a sharp knife, obvi, and we're using the totality of the blade, all right, from tip to heel. And nice, smooth, precision-like movement. We're not trying to force it in there, okay? We're not trying to seesaw the jaw back and forth. Now finally, to complete your dice, we're gonna keep the onion same direction and just go across it now again with even cuts. A dice is a cube, even on all sides, okay? So every one of your cuts this whole way through has to be even at every stage. Then the rest, that little John at the end, you don't know what to do with it. That's scraps. You can use it for stocks or sauces or whatever. If the shape isn't really that big of a deal to you, maybe it's getting pureed, you know, you could simply kind of like use last week's standard vegetable cut method, slice it into a little plank, stack it, then julienne it, and go across again with the dice, and then you go chi. Not super difficult, okay, but it's gonna take time and repetition. Every skill Time, repetition, willpower, determination. That's gonna be all for today's video. If you got some value out of it, subscribe. Tap the bell notification so you know when more of the videos come out. And until next time, keep cooking up, fam. Love and peace. Manokis. Chef out.